a earth and a world. And he was such a genius that he was able to make himself a sun. We'll see it in eclipse, I think, on Monday. And God looked at that sun and God said, that's good. My grandmama told me about this. And God was able to make him a moon. You know, and I have reasoned that he made the sun to make day, and he made night, but he was just determined to give just enough light that we wouldn't be stumbling all over ourselves. And that's what the moon does. And then God said, that's good. He wasn't through, finished. He desired to make himself some water and some land. Separated the two. Made the land so that we could habitate. Made the seas, other oceans, so that the fish and other little mammals and rascals could live there. God looked at that, I'm told by my grandmother, and he said, that's good. But he still wasn't satisfied. He needed something in his own image, I understand. Even though God's a big spirit. Bigger than earth. Bigger than we can ever imagine. He went on then to go down by the seaside, my grandmother said, and scoop up some dirt. Make it in the form of a man, and had a little statue standing in front of him. And I understand that he looked at that little man and said that that's good. But he wasn't satisfied still. My grandmother told me that he blew breath into that clay, and man was formed. And I can just see God there really smiling, realizing how bad he was. As he said, that's good. Not quite good enough, though. What can a man do for me? I can imagine God asking himself. To sit up and talk to himself and spin his wheels. So God decided that man needed a mate. And he ripped out some of the ribs of that man and made woman. The best thing that God ever did. Some of his best work. God said of his work, that's good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you when God really got serious in creation. He had made those women his little sub-creators to replenish his human earth. But God got all, I would imagine, carried away with himself. And he made a woman named Amelia Platts Boynton Robinson. Now, normally, you think that we're going to come here, we're going to stay 67 or so, and we're going to just tip off the edge and go on about our business. But Amelia Boynton Robinson, I'm going to tell you her life and time story later on today. That woman lived to be 104 years old. And from 10 years old to 104 years old, that woman was busy taking care of business. That's why we are here today. And that's why we welcome you all here today. Don't worry about how many people are in here now, because the story is going to go all over the world. But just know that the right people are here today. Just know that the right people are here today. I need a prayer to get us off on the right foot. And where is my little praying man?
Today I'm going to be saying Miss Amelia's prayer. God helps my every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me. Guides my way through every moment of the day. Remember, God is a spirit. I am now free. I am now true. Patient, kind, and loving too. All that I am and hope to be through Christ and the Lord who is in me.
I thank you. Queen Mother Amelia Boynton Robinson loved children. The best fight that we got into in the last parts of her life would be taking her away from where children were. I messed around and took her away from where some children were at one church one day and took her to another high-class church where no children were and nothing but old folks singing and hollering and jumping up and down. That woman chewed me out for 3 months for daring to take her away from where those children were. We started a contest one day to determine what young people could write and study Queen Mother's legacy and come forward to represent her. She left a trail of people that was out of sight. And we will keep her legacy alive for as long as I live anyhow. And I think we're going to have it so solid then that it can't nobody do nothing with it anyhow. But anyhow, she passed the torch for peace and freedom to this woman, Audri Scott Williams. That was done about, I guess, 6 years before she passed away. She was impressed with what Audri had done and her character and her womanhood. And we polled a bunch of young girls and they came in and presented themselves. And we selected one of those young women as Miss Amelia Platts Boynton Robinson. And she has represented ever since. And I want her to come before you today to tell you who she is. Miss Amelia Platts Boynton Robinson.
Hello, I am Amelia Platts, and I just have one question for you. Have you registered to vote? That's right. You should be registered to vote because it's your right. I know you are black, and I know you are a woman. That is plain to see. However, in the United States of America, you have a right to vote. So have you registered? Oh, you want to know why I'm asking you? You think I should just learn my place as a young lady. Well, I believe that all people have rights. That includes women and people of every color. It was wrong when they made us take a test to vote. So have you registered? Let me introduce myself. I am Amelia Platts Boynton Robinson. I was one of the first blacks registered to vote in 1934. While in college at Tuskegee Institute, I met Sandra Boynton and we were married. I wrote the play Through the Years about my relative Robert Smalls. I also wrote the book Bridges Over Jordan and was beaten and gassed during the Selma to Montgomery March. I was the first woman to run for Congress in Alabama. I have been honored around the world, but I know that my strength comes from my God. There is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what I can do. Now tell me, ma'am, tell me, sir, have you registered?
Super, super, super. Now, can anybody throw a solo on us? Any singers in this house? Come on, then, with your super bad sing. And not only is she going to sing for us today, but during the last 2 or 3 years of Queen Mother's life, after Queen Mother passed the torch to Sister Williams over there, every time that we looked up, they were in town from Cottonville, Alabama. That became our sister city. And they were not here, we were there. And every time after I heard the voice of this beautiful human being, I insisted that she just had to hoot a song for Queen Mother. And Queen Mother loved it. So I'll see what you think. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Chief. Queen Mother loved the spiritual, so I'm going to sing spiritual. Gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my burden down by the river.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this fellowship that we have enjoyed, the relationships that have been renewed and established. Now, Lord, we ask that you continue to bless us. Bless the food that we're about to receive. Bless the fellowship that we will continue to enjoy. And when we leave this place today, we ask that you bless us with traveling grace as we journey near and far to return to our homes. Hear our prayer. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. No more gonna put on my long white robe. Where? Down by the riverside. Come on. Down by the riverside. Say what? Down by the riverside, gonna put on my long white robe. Down by the riverside, I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Give thanks. Thank you, God.